Hi, my name is Cristina Nieves, and this is how the Lord redeemed me from anger. So I grew up with both my mom and dad. I am the baby of four children. So I remember the moment that I first really truly felt angry. Rageful angry was when I first, and the only time that I ever witnessed my father being abusive to my mother. And so that was the first time I witnessed it. So of course it was traumatic for me. It was like, what on earth just happened? So I just remember following him and staring at him, kind of like thinking to myself, what did you just do? How can you move on without, you just hurt my mom? And then I take a look at the kitchen table and there's a knife there. And I remember looking at the knife and I was plotting in my head how to take my father's life at 7 years old, because you just did this to my mother and I want this to stop. Nobody could tell every single time, but I was always ready. I was always ready to fight. I fantasize about fighting. Like, it was like my thing. Like, I wanted to hurt people out of this anger that I had. And it was, without even realizing, it was just from the hurt and wanting to protect people all at the same time, but also wanting to protect myself. I remember there was a kid my age, same grade. There was a kid sitting down next to me in the library, and he puts his hand on my leg and kind of like rubbed it. And I got so mad. I just reacted. And when I tell you that I felt the little tingle, it got to me so quick. I just grabbed my pencil and I stabbed him in the knee. And they asked me why I did that. And I was like, because he touched me. Don't mess with me, kind of thing. I was very tough, but it wasn't really tough. I was just really broken. I didn't realize how hurt I truly was. So then come 7th grade, I was determined. I was like, well, nobody's gonna bully me. And that's where I realized, like, okay, I really enjoy doing this. I really enjoy fighting. And so even it was almost like the people that I was hurting when I was fighting, or the people that I was trying to fight with, they were just my outlet. Because I was like, I want you, for some reason, I pick you. For some reason, I want you to feel the pain that I'm feeling inside. And you're gonna feel it with my punches. Because, in high school or in fights, period, most of the girls would just pull hair. I was not. I was punching. I was making sure that someone felt the pain that I had. One time in one of the in-school suspensions, which they call ISS, there was this coach, his name is Coach Buck. And so he's like, you're so angry. Why don't you join the wrestling team and try it out, see how that works out for you, get you out of trouble. I remember the first time that I wrestled, I punched the girl instead of wrestling, because it's just what came natural to me. I was just, and they were like, hey. They blew the whistle and they were like, hey. And the coach was like, sorry, she's new. Really, joining wrestling was kind of like my next outlet. And I stopped fighting in school. And so I really enjoyed it, because it was just like, it helped me forget what I was going through and what I had to deal with at home. So then that same year that I joined wrestling, my mom passed away. She died in a car accident. But then high school ended and there was no more outlet. There was nothing else that I could do, but I was still angry. I was tormented by my past, what I'd done, people I've hurt. And so I believe it was when I was 20 or 21 that I went back to church. I remember being touched by the Spirit so much that it was just kind of like, forgive, let go of everything, not just what people had done to me, but what I had done to them. So if I told the Lord I was gonna do it, I was gonna give it up completely. And I'm very radical, very, very radical. So I said, from this moment on, I'm no longer gonna be angry, because at one point it had to have been a choice. So I was like, Lord, I'm gonna choose you. What the Lord told me to do was go into Ephesians 6. It's not flesh and blood that we're dealing with. Those people that are trying to poke needles at you, it's not their flesh and blood. It's the spirits that are behind them. And so I'm like, oh, it's on. You know what? This is what I did in the spiritual realm. I put my hair up and I said, you know what? The devil wants to get me. He want to get down in the ring. That's what he wants to do. So I remember fasting. I remember praying, but not just because I was angry at them. Now it was like, you want to mess with me, but I'm going to show you I'm not the one. It turned from physical to spiritual. So now I'm not a physical warrior. Now I'm a spiritual warrior. And I feel like you could really see the transformation, because you look at me and you would have never known that I was that girl fighting people, hurting people. And now it's just like, come here, let me give you a hug. You need a hug? I'll give you a free hug. If the Lord can redeem me, he can redeem you too.